A very good morning to all of you who are here today for the 6th International Conference on Marketing Management, ICMM 2026, proudly organized by the Sri Lanka Institute of Marketing, the national body for Sri Lankan marketers, together with the SLIM Research Bureau with the Emerald Publishing. So ladies and gentlemen, as you just saw, we welcome the dignitaries, the academics, the industry experts with our traditional drummers, the traditional dancers representing the pride of Sri Lanka, our motherland. And of course, today, it will all be about resilience and innovation, building adaptive strategies for emerging markets, a timely and transformative theme to discuss, debate on, and share insights together, especially at a time like this. So since our dignitaries are standing, let me invite all of them to light up the traditional oil lamp, marking the traditional values and the culture of Sri Lanka. For this, I consider it my privilege in inviting Professor Bruno S. Sergi, the keynote speaker of the 6th International Conference on Marketing Management, ICMM 2026, Dr. Asanga Ranasinghe, the keynote speaker, Professor Devasiri N. Jayantha, the president of Sri Lanka Institute of Marketing, Dr. Dilhan Sampath Jayatilaka, the senior vice president of Education and Research of Sri Lanka Institute of Marketing, Mr. Enoch Pereira, the Vice President of Events and Sustainability at SLIM, Ms. Shanika Ratnasiri, the Conference Chair of ICMM 2026, Ms. Iresha Hettige, the Conference Secretary, Mr. Chamil Vikramasinghe, the CEO of Sri Lanka Institute of Marketing, Mr. Gayan Pereira, the immediate past president of SLIM ex-co-member Mr. Sirimeman Senimiratna, and I also cordially invite Professor Atula Nyanapala, representing the SLIM Board of Study, Dr. Pradeep Edward, the chairperson of the Education Reforms Committee, Professor Ravi Disanaika, representing session chairs of the conference, Mr. G.S. Sylvester, the chairperson of Academic Council, Dr. Sajid Chanika Prematilaka, the head of education, Mr. Sadeepa Abenayaka, program manager of the conference, Dr. Sumit De Silva, representing all the lecturers at SLIM, one presenter representing all the authors. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. And with that, we marked the commencement of the 6th International Conference on Marketing Management, ICMM 2026, proudly organized by the Sri Lanka Institute of Marketing and Slim Research Bureau in collaboration with Emerald Publishing. So, ladies and gentlemen, to officially commence today's proceedings, we, as one nation, shall rise together and sing the national anthem of the Democratic Socialist Republic of Sri Lanka. Ladies and gentlemen. So, as I mentioned before, today, yes, you may get seated, ladies and gentlemen. We are all set for the commencement of today's program. And as I mentioned before, in a world shaped by economic uncertainty, technological disruption, and rapidly evolving consumer behavior, resilience is no longer optional. It is essential. Innovation is no longer incremental, it is transformational. Emerging markets, in particular, stand at a defining crossroad. They are laboratories of agility, hubs of entrepreneurial spirit, and powerful engines of global growth. Yet, they demand adaptive strategies, bold thinking, and research-driven insight to navigate complexity and seize opportunity. And, ladies and gentlemen, that is exactly and precisely why we are here today. ICMM 2026 is not just a conference, it is a convergence of global intellect and local relevance. a space where research meets reality, where ideas are challenged and where perspectives are expanded, and where strategies for tomorrow are shaped today. So, distinguished guests, as I mentioned before, we are all set to the commencement of the 6th International Conference on Marketing Management, ICMM 2026. And at this acclaimed occasion, I consider it my privilege in inviting our dignitaries to the head table, and to start off with Professor Devasiri Enchayantha, the President of Sri Lanka Institute of Marketing. Sir, I would cordially invite you to come onto stage to feature the head table. And also, I would like to invite Dr. Dilhan Sampath Jayatilaka, the Senior Vice President, Education and Research of Sri Lanka Institute of Marketing. Also, this will be accompanied by Professor Bruno Essergi, the keynote speaker of the 6th International Conference on Marketing Management, ICMM 2026. Also, I cordially invite Dr. Asanga Ranasinghe, the keynote speaker of ICMM 2026. And I also consider it in my privilege in inviting Ms. Shanika Ratnasiri, the conference chair of ICMM 2026, to come to the head table. And finally, Ms. Iresha Hetige, the conference secretary of ICMM 2026, over to the head table. So ladies and gentlemen, over here we have the head table at the 6th International Conference on Marketing Management, ICMM 2026. So, ladies and gentlemen, as I mentioned, today will be all about effectiveness, productivity. So, I consider it my privilege in inviting Dr. Dilhan Sampath Jayatilaka, the Senior Vice President of Education and Research at SLIM, to deliver the welcome address, welcoming all of you here today.
A very good morning to all of you, ladies and gentlemen. It gives me indeed pleasure to welcome all of you on this Friday morning at the 6th International Conference on Marketing Management. At the outset, let me welcome the presence of our chief guest and keynote speaker, Professor Bruno Essergi, the faculty affiliate at the Center for International Development at the Harvard Kennedy School in USA. We are also privileged to have the presence of Dr. Asanga Ranasinghe, who is also delivering a keynote address. He's the Director of Postgraduate Institute of Management at the University of Sri Jayawardenepura. We'll also have the presence of Madam Sangeeta Menon. She'll be joining online. And she's the Regional Publishing Manager, South Asia for Emerald Publishing. At the same time, let me welcome the President of Sri Lanka Institute of Marketing, Professor Devasiri Enchayantha, immediate past President, Mr. Gan Pereira, CEO of SLIM, Mr. Tamil Wickramasinghe. Also, we have the members of the Executive Committee present here. Also, let me extend a warm welcome to the conference chair, Ms. Shanika Ratnasiri. I think she landed a couple of days ago here and made it a point to be here, so welcome here. And also conference secretary, Ms. Iresha Hetige. We also, in the audience, we have the presence representing our board of study, Professor Atula Jnanapala, our academic chair, Mr. G.S. Sylvester, head of education, Dr. Sajid Prematilaka, and all the staff members of SLIM. And we also would like to welcome all of you, academia and research scholars who have taken your time and effort to send in your research papers for ICMM. So ICMM had been a great effort initiated by our very own president 6 years ago. And I also had the privilege of being a chair last year. And it's indeed great to see the stature that the event has grown in leaps and bounds over the years. And also we have considerably increased the number of papers also over the years. And this has become one of the most awaited, let me say the much awaited research symposium when it comes to marketing held in Sri Lanka. And it's not only a local event, it has the international representation, it has the international reach also. So with all of you names mentioned and names not mentioned have been very near and dear to us in this effort, and particularly at the 6th ICMM. That being said, let me welcome all of the dignitaries who will be joining us physically and online, and hope you will have a wonderful opening session as well as a very fruitful academic session. And let me wish all of you a pleasant day ahead. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And ladies and gentlemen, that was Dr. Dilhan Sampath Jayatilaka, the Senior Vice President of Education and Research at Sri Lanka Institute of Marketing. So ladies and gentlemen, as I mentioned before, today is all about resilience and innovation, building adaptive strategies for emerging markets. That's the valuable and the impressive theme of the 6th International Conference on Marketing Management, ICMM 2026, organized by the Sri Lanka Institute of Marketing and Slim Research Bureau in collaboration with Emerald Publishing. So I invite all of you take a quick glance on the screen as we have the introductory video of the 6th International Conference on Marketing Management, ICMM 2026.
Ladies and gentlemen, a very warm welcome to the 6th International Conference on Marketing Management 2026, proudly organized by the Sri Lanka Institute of Marketing in collaboration with the Slim Research Bureau and Emerald Publishing. ICMM 2026 is guided by the theme Resilience and Innovation, Building Adaptive Strategies for Emerging Markets, which highlights the transformative role of innovation, critical thinking, and sustainable practices in shaping the future of global management and marketing. We are deeply honored to welcome our distinguished keynote speakers, Professor Bruno S. Sergi of Harvard University, USA, and Dr. Asanga Ranasinghe, Director of the Postgraduate Institute of Management, University of Sri Jayawardenepura. This year's conference has attracted a strong representation of both local and international scholars, with 40 full paper submissions. Following a rigorous double-blind peer review process conducted by more than 35 esteemed reviewers, these scholarly contributions are organized into 6 thematic sessions covering a broad spectrum of contemporary marketing and management disciplines, including consumer behavior, digital marketing and e-commerce, services marketing and retailing, tourism, hospitality and event management, CSR and sustainability, and contemporary issues in marketing. ICMM 2026 also brings together 12 distinguished panelists from academia. Their valuable insights and diverse perspectives will significantly enrich scholarly discussions and promote meaningful knowledge exchange throughout the conference. This conference stands as a testament to the unwavering dedication and exemplary leadership of the organizing committee, guided by the advisory committee of ICMM 2026, including Professor Dewasiri N. Jayantha, President, Sri Lanka Institute of Marketing, Dr. Dilhan Sampath Jayatilaka, Vice President, Education and Research, Sri Lanka Institute of Marketing, Mr. Enoch Pereira, Vice President, Events and Sustainability, Sri Lanka Institute of Marketing, and Mr. Shamil Wickramasinghe, Chief Executive Officer, Sri Lanka Institute of Marketing, along with many other distinguished academics and professionals. We are also pleased to introduce the organizing committee of ICMM 2026, led by Conference Chair Mrs. Shahanika Ratnasiri, together with Conference Secretary Mrs. Iresha Hetke and Coordinating Secretary Ms. Shashini Bulumula. As we commence this enriching academic journey, let us embrace the spirit of inquiry, collaboration, and innovation that defines ICMM 2026. Together, let us inspire new ideas and celebrate the future of management research.
So, ladies and gentlemen, that was a 360-degree view of the 6th International Conference on Marketing Management, ICMM 2026. So now you have the hint, the clue, the right clue as to how rich, valuable, and prestigious the coming moments will be at ICMM 2026. So, proceeding with the items on the agenda, ladies and gentlemen, we do have the speech by Ms. Shanika Ratnasiri, the conference chair of ICMM 2026. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the conference chair, Ms. Shanika Ratnasiri, with a round of applause.
Thank you so much. Good morning to you all, distinguished guests, esteemed academics, industry partners, session chairs and panelists, authors, and dear participants. It's a privilege to address you today in my capacity as the conference chair of the 6th International Conference on Marketing Management, ICMM 2026, organized by Sri Lanka Institute of Marketing in collaboration with Emerald Publishing. The conference represents not only an important academic milestone, but also a personal vision that I have strongly believed in a full physical conference setting. I have always felt that face-to-face academic engagement carries deeper conversations, stronger collaborations, and a more meaningful conference experience for the participants. Seeing all of you gathered here today upholds that belief and that makes this moment specially, which is rewarding for me. The objective of this conference has been to create a credible and inclusive platform for researchers and the practitioners to share knowledge, present rigorous research, and collectively explore how marketing can respond to contemporary global challenges. This year, we received over 40 full paper submissions, and following a rigorous peer review, which is double-blinded, 21 papers were accepted for the presentation today. These papers are presented across 6 conference tracks, including consumer behavior, digital marketing and e-commerce, CRM and sustainability, tourism, hospitality and destination marketing, services marketing and retailing, and contemporary issues in marketing. Now, I would also like to take this opportunity to acknowledge, though this is not the vote of thanks, so this is the first and the last time I received this microphone, so I need to acknowledge some distinguished keynote speakers. Professor Bruno S. Sergi from Harvard University, USA, Dr. Asanga Ranasinghe, Director, Postgraduate Institute of Management, University of Sri Chavardhanapura, whose presence significantly enriches this intellectual value of this conference. Your insights, experience, and scholarly contributions will set the tone for this critical reflection and meaningful dialogue throughout this conference. At this point, I would like to take a moment to express my sincere gratitude to those who played a pivotal role making this conference a reality. First and foremost, I would like to extend my heartfelt thanks to Professor Devasiri and Jayantha, President, Sri Lanka Institute of Marketing, for appointing me as the conference chair and the trust and the confidence he placed on me. Your guidance and encouragement have been instrumental throughout this journey. I would also like to extend my appreciation to Dr. Dilhan Sampath Jayatilaka, Senior Vice President, Sri Lanka Institute of Marketing, for his unwavering commitment, collaborative spirit, and leadership in ensuring the smooth coordination of many of these conference activities. Special thanks also conveyed to Mr. Enoch Pereira, Vice President, Events and Sustainability, Sri Lanka Institute of Marketing, for his immense operational support and the countless efforts behind the scenes that have helped bringing this event to life. I would also like to sincerely thank Mr. Chamil Wickramasinghe, the CEO of Sri Lanka Institute of Marketing, for his dedication, commitment, and countless effort in coordinating and supporting many operational aspects of this conference. My special appreciation goes to Conference Secretary Ms. Iresha Hettige, Coordinating Secretary Ms. Shashini Bulumulla for their continuous coordination and behind-the-scenes work, which ensured that every aspect of the conference ran smoothly. I'm also deeply grateful to the entire organizing committee, particularly Mr. Sadeepa Abenayaka, Ms. Suzanne, Ms. Umaya, Ms. Hansika, and the technical handling committee for their tireless efforts and the enthusiasm throughout the planning and execution stages of this conference. I would also like to acknowledge and sincerely thank our generous sponsors and the partners. Your support have been invaluable in enabling this conference into this scale in a quality way. Last but not least, to all the authors, the paper presenters, reviewers, session chairs, panelists, and the valued participants. Thank you very much for your contribution and the engagement. Your research and the ideas are the true foundation for this conference. As we proceed with today's session, I encourage you to actively participate, exchange ideas openly, and take the full advantage of this platform. Let us make today's a meaningful and memorable experience. Thank you very much and have a fruitful day ahead.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. That was Ms. Shanika Ratnasiri, the conference chair of ICMM 2026. Moving on with the agenda of ICMM 2026, ladies and gentlemen, we do have a speech next, and which will be delivered by Professor Devasiri N. Jayantha, the President of Sri Lanka Institute of Marketing. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the President of SLIM with a round of applause.
Very good morning, ladies and gentlemen, members of the head table, including Professor Bruno Sergi, the keynote speaker, Dr. Asangarana Singha, the keynote speaker of the conference, Senior Vice President of SLIM, Dr. Desan Sampath Jayatileka, and Conference Chair, Ms. Shanika Ratnasiri, and Conference Secretary, Ms. Iresha Hettige. And also the management of SLIM, members of the Board of Study, members of the Education Reforms Committee, members of the Academic Council, session chairs, panelists, and the heart and soul of today's occasion, the presenters who are present in their work today. Research and development, it plays a crucial role in any economy. We consider research and development as an indicator of economic growth. That's why most of the developed countries, they allocate a significant portion of their GDP for research and development. For instance, countries like Israel, they are allocating around 6% of their GDP for research and development. US, they are allocating around 3.5%. So if you take Italy, so it is around 1.4% of their GDP. Unfortunately, South Asian region, we do not have much funds available for research and development. So we basically allocate around average 0.4% from the South Asian GDP. So if you consider India, so it's around 0.6%, Nepal 0.3%, and Sri Lanka, unfortunately, we allocate around 0.1% of our GDP. Even though the research and development plays a vital role in economic development, the allocation, the fund allocation from the GDP, so it's really less. We identified this as a kind of a gap, and we discussed within the council in 2020 what sort of activities we can do in order to develop the research and research culture, elevate the research culture in the marketing community. Because as you know, Sri Lanka Institute of Marketing, we are the national body for marketing. If you take any academic institution, their role and responsibilities are threefold. Number one, so we are responsible for knowledge creation, responsible for knowledge dissemination, and we are responsible for national contribution on an ethical manner. So when we were discussing about this in 2020 at SLIM, so we identified that so the contribution for knowledge creation is really less. In order to create the knowledge or find the new knowledge, so we need to have research on board. So in order to fill that gap, so we established this international conference on marketing management in 2020 with the support of the council. And subsequently, we established SLIM Research Bureau in order to cater to the research requirements of the SME sector here in Sri Lanka. So in the meantime, so we identified that there are very less index journals here in Sri Lanka. So very less. It's less than 5 in the whole management domain. So indexed by top indexing bodies. So with the objective of developing another platform where the researchers can contribute and publish their work, so we establish again another outlet, we call it as South Asian Journal of Marketing in collaboration with Emerald Publishing UK. That was the first, and also that is the first ever Emerald Journal established here in Sri Lanka. So catering to the research requirements to the of the marketing domain. So in addition to that, as an institution, we allocate a sufficient allocation from our net profits for research and development. It is one of our key mandates. So with those in our mind, so our vision for the future to further strengthen the research culture within the institution, within the marketing domain. So we see there are a lot of areas to be developed in terms of marketing in the country and in the region. So the research can play a crucial role in supporting that. So when it comes to International Conference on Marketing Management, so this is a key platform in Sri Lanka where the researchers can publish their work, disseminate their new findings to broader academic and industry community. So today we are witnessing the sixth episode of International Conference on Marketing Management. So across the last 6 years, we were continuing this effort. And as the president today, so I'm glad to see the success of the entire program. So the appreciation should go to everyone who contributed in establishing this platform and also continuing this platform for the future researchers. So this will be a greater platform to disseminate their knowledge. With that, so I would like to highlight one of the key priorities of SLIM for the next 5 years' time. Research and development, developing the entrepreneurial sector along with the educational sector, the professional education, so that is our key priority. So with that vision in our mind, we established several measures and several strategies in order to reach that target. The collaborations with the government sector, including ministries and also collaborations with the industry. So in order to support the industry, in order to support the academia, all the collaborations, we do have collaborations with all the universities in Sri Lanka in supporting them, supporting their conferences, and also offering professional qualifications, because SLIM is the apex body for marketing here in Sri Lanka, so that is our mandate. So with that, so I would like to conclude my, the speech, wishing everyone all the success in your presentations, and the conference team a huge success for ICMM 2026. And I wish SLIM to continue this program for the future, contributing to the national economy, which is our mandate. Thank you very much, and have a great day.
Thank you very much. And ladies and gentlemen, that was Professor Devasiri N. Jayantha, the president of Sri Lanka Institute of Marketing. So as he briefed, as he explained, this is a journey that began back in the year 2020. 6 years ago, and proudly we are here today gathering at the 6th International Conference on Marketing Management, ICMM 2026. So, as he said, this is the 6th version, 6th successful episode. I'm sure it must have begun with very humble beginnings, but today, look, we have a greater gathering, a bigger gathering, and I'm sure that richer insights will be shared within today. So, ladies and gentlemen, let us have a quick weave on the journey that ICMM has come all the way from 2020.
The Sri Lanka Institute of Marketing is the apex body for marketers in Sri Lanka and the national body for marketing. It is a not-for-profit organization founded in 1970 and incorporated by an Act of Parliament in 1980. SLIM is mandated to uplift the marketing profession through education, professional development, and nationally recognized initiatives. SLIM Research Bureau is the research and insights arm of the Sri Lanka Institute of Marketing, established in 2021 as the brainchild of Professor Dr. Devasiri N. Jayantha. SRB was founded with a clear purpose: to empower students, marketers, SMEs, and entrepreneurs with reliable data and actionable insights that drive informed decision-making. The International Conference on Marketing Management is a global research conference focused on marketing and management, organized by the Sri Lanka Institute of Marketing and the SLIM Research Bureau in collaboration with Emerald Publishing. Founded in 2020 as the brainchild Professor Dr. Devasiri N. Jayantha, ICMM gives researchers the opportunity to present their work to an expert panel, with selected papers chosen for publication. The conference brings together local and international scholars to share their research and ideas. Over the past 5 editions, ICMM has explored themes such as driving innovations through sustainability marketing, reinvigorating marketing strategies in the new normal, embracing change and transformation through marketing, reinventing marketing for a sustainable and resilient future, unlocking tomorrow, navigating the future of marketing, lead by human intelligence through data and artificial intelligence. This year, ICMM proudly enters its 6th edition, continuing to inspire innovation and thought leadership in marketing.
So that's the journey, that's the story of ICMM 2026. And ladies and gentlemen, yes, we shall give a round of applause for the achievements, the milestones that ICMM, the International Conference in Marketing Management, has done so far. Thank you very much. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are moving on to another insightful speech right now. As you know, this international conference is organized by Sri Lanka Institute of Marketing, the Slim Research Bureau, in collaboration with the renowned Emerald Publishing. So, as it was mentioned, Ms. Sangeeta Menon, the Regional Publishing Manager, South Asia of Emerald Publishing, although she is not here with us at this gathering, she is sharing her heartfelt wishes and blessings to this international conference. And ladies and gentlemen, now we are moving on to a video which has been shared by our very own guest, Ms. Sangeeta Menon, the Regional Publishing Manager, South Asia of Emerald Publishing.
Hi, everyone, and a very good morning to everyone. I would like to begin by expressing my sincere thanks to the conference organizers and the advisory committee for the opportunity to speak before this August gathering today. It's wonderful to be here with all of you, leaders, scholars, innovators, and friends. I'm truly delighted to represent Emerald Publishing at the 6th International Conference on Marketing Management, organized by the SLIM Research Bureau, together with Sri Lanka Institute of Marketing and Emerald Publishing. Gatherings like this really remind us of the shared responsibility and opportunity we have to shape the future of marketing in emerging markets with purpose, intelligence, and resilience. Let me start by reflecting on the world we are building. In my career of over 2 decades in the publishing industry, I witnessed a huge shift in how knowledge, technology, and consumer behavior influence markets. Emerging markets aren't just catching up anymore. They are becoming hubs of innovation, creativity, and fast-paced growth. At the same time, they're facing some of the biggest uncertainties. That's why this year's ICMM theme, Resilience and Innovation, Building Adaptive Strategies for Emerging Markets, is so relevant. It pushes us to think not just about adapting, but of leading real transformation. Now let's just talk about resilience for a moment. Today, resilience isn't simply something we tap into when things go wrong. It is true strategic advantage. Across Asia, Africa, Latin America, and beyond, we all see the same challenges. Fluctuating consumer confidence, rapid digitization, geopolitical shifts, and a growing expectation for ethical and transparent business. What really sets strong organizations apart is the ability to bake resilience into the systems, into supply chains, talent development, data infrastructure, and the way they build relationships with their customers. As publishers, we see this in the rise of research around adaptive marketing and consumer behavior in uncertain times. Conferences such as ICMM play a critical role in advancing that body of knowledge. Innovation is the next big piece, and in emerging markets, innovation tends to be practical and grounded, not flashy. It's the small but meaningful changes. For instance, a retailer in Colombo moving from a traditional loyalty program to real-time AI personalization, a rural entrepreneur embracing mobile-first commerce tools, or a university researcher teaming up with the industry to solve long-standing distribution challenges. The innovations that matter aren't always the most complex. They're the ones that actually fit the context. That's why the work presented at this conference is so valuable. Another thing the past decade has taught us is that data alone isn't power. What matters is how we use it. We have seen more and more partnerships forming between academia, industry, and research groups. ICMM has always been great at creating that bridge, bringing global scholars into conversations with local industry and supporting research that has a direct impact. But for data to really matter, we need the right talent, which is people who understand not only technology but culture, consumer nuance, and ethical decision making. As the past ICMM themes have shown, especially discussions around human intelligence AI, that this blend is becoming more and more important than ever. And as we highlight resilience this year, that evolution continues. Collaboration is no longer optional, it's the core of growth. From a publishing perspective, I believe that the future of emerging markets won't be shaped by technology alone, but by strong knowledge ecosystems. We need to elevate regional research voices, encourage evidence based marketing, democratize access to quality resources, and build stronger connections between journals, universities, practitioners, and policymakers. Conferences like ICMM aren't just events, they're catalysts. They bring together ideas that can spark real world impact. As we look ahead, I want to leave you with three thoughts. First, build resilience. Build resilience into every decision, not just during crisis. Make resilience part of your everyday planning, whether in product design, storytelling, or operations. Second, innovate for your own context. The most meaningful innovations come from understanding local consumers and addressing real needs. Third, treat knowledge as something to be shared. Share it widely, challenge it, publish it. Let it strengthen the market's organizations and leadership. Before I close, I want to acknowledge the incredible work of the SLIM Research Bureau and the Sri Lanka Institute of Marketing. The commitment for uplifting scholarship and supporting industry year on year is truly inspiring. To all presenters and participants, your work today has the power to influence not only research, but economic outcomes, social well being, and the future of marketing in emerging markets. Thank you, and I wish you all meaningful and inspiring ICMM 2026.
Yes, so ladies and gentlemen, what we just heard and viewed was the guest speech by Ms. Sangeeta Menon, the Regional Publishing Manager, South Asia of Emerald Publishing. So we are moving on to one of the segments that we've all been awaiting for, the first keynote speech of the day. But ladies and gentlemen, before I invite him to deliver his keynote speech, let me give a brief introduction to him. Professor S. Sergi is an instructor at Harvard University Division of Continuing Education and a full professor of political economy at the University of Messina, Italy. At Harvard, he is concurrently a faculty affiliate, Harvard Center for International Development, Harvard Kennedy School from 2022 up to today. Faculty affiliate, the Davis Center for Russian and Eurasian Studies, associate, Harvard University Asia Center. Also, his teaching portfolio encompasses crucial subjects, including development economics and the economics of emerging markets. His extensive academic career has made him involved in several roles at international and intergovernmental organizations. He is a member of the International Academic Advisory Board at the International Anti-Corruption Academy, an international organization based in Alexandria, Vienna, Austria. And also, he is a member of the Board of Advisors, Euclid University, an international intergovernmental organization. His commitment to expanding his interests is evident in his participation in various advisory boards. He has spearheaded the launch of several scholarly journals and book series at Cambridge University Press and Emerald Publishing, further advancing academic discourse. He is an editor, Cambridge Elements in the Economics of Emerging Markets, Cambridge University Press, an editor of Entrepreneurship and Global Economic Growth, Emerald Publishers, an editor, Lab for Entrepreneurship and Development, Emerald Publishers, associate editor of the American Economist and official publication of Omicron Delta Epsilon, the International Honor Society in Economics. Not stopping at that point. He is also the founder and editor-in-chief of the International Journal of Trade and Global Markets, International Journal of Economic Policy in Emerging Economies, and also International Journal of Monetary Economics and Finance. So, you know that the keynote speech that you will be listening in a very short while, will be full of insights. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, I consider it my privilege in inviting Professor Bruno S. Sergi, Faculty Affiliate, Center for International Development, Harvard Kennedy School of United States of America, who is also the keynote speaker at ICMM 2026 for his keynote speech. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome him with a round of applause.
So thank you, Stuti. Hi, Bon. Very good morning to everyone. Let me first of all extend my gratitude to Professor Devasiri Jayanta for inviting me to come over to Colombo, to Sri Lanka. And it is my privilege to address you today, to deliver this keynote speech at the 6th International Conference of Marketing Management. So I need to keep within the time limits, about 20 minutes, maybe 25 minutes. And my topic today is about economic growth, but not as we have understood economic growth in the past. In the past, the goal of economic growth was just to increase GDP and to have a fast GDP growth. And the concept of emerging markets come out of this logic, fast GDP growth countries. Today, the novelty is the Global South. I wrote a book for Cambridge University Press about the Global South. And the past concept of GDP is still important. We need to produce, to increase GDP as fast as possible, as much as possible, in addition to have a fair GDP distribution, not just a GDP growth, but also an inclusive GDP growth. But today, GDP growth is not, just a GDP growth is not enough. We need that GDP growth is sustainable. We need a sustainable GDP growth. And sustainable, the concept of sustainable is about a long-term strategy. So we need a long-term perspective of GDP growth. And another novelty today is to intertwine, to fuse GDP growth with sustainability and with technology progress for strategic ends. So it's very complex, the concept of growth, of GDP growth. And today, there is a growing interest about sustainability, about a sustainable future, and especially the youngest generation is very keen with these concepts, not just GDP growth, but a sustainable GDP growth. And the technology might be very helpful in these concepts, in these new concepts. So the concept of fusing growth with an authentic growth, authentic sustainability concepts, and with technology. So I will skip over a couple of slides. So I will try to clarify my concepts. So we need a green strategy. And as you are experts of marketing, we need to market these concepts and to provide a clear explanation to people, to consumers, to producers. And we need to prove that consumers, investors, corporations are authentically green, are keen with sustainable practices. We need a strong commitment on these new concepts of economic growth. But when we have very unclear, very non-authentic messages, so we fall in the greenwashing. When corporations show a mismatch between what the main message is concerning long-term sustainability, concerning green practices, and what corporations actually do. Consumers. Consumers are questioning about how strong companies are committed to a long-term sustainable strategy. And the concept of greenwashing is becoming very frequent today. So as you, as marketing experts, you need to provide a clear framework. And this clear framework is to give an authentic information to consumers. And consumers, especially the youngest generation of consumers, is very interested in these new practices. So the United States of America, in the very, very last day, very important producers, brand names, including Jack Daniels, Budweiser, Harley Davidson, are scaling down the strategy, maybe because of President Trump. President Trump has been changing the strategy, a very strong commitment on a green strategy. And these are very classical signals of greenwashing. When there is a very long term, a strong commitment on a sustainability, corporations do not scale down, scale back from the long-term strategy. When corporations scale down or scale back from commitments, that is a clear example that the strategy was a kind of unclear, non-genuine strategy. Non-genuine strategy. And today, consumers are considering sustainability practices before making a purchase. There are many statistics about this interest of consumers to spend on sustainable products. And interesting indeed is that especially from the global south, we have many consumers, young consumers, who express an interest in purchasing products made by brands, corporations, committed on sustainability. So, for example, this graph, you see this graph. This graph is about consumers who are willing to pay more for sustainable products. And you see a list of countries. And at the very top of this list, we see countries from the global south. And that is a very surprising outcome of these surveys, because young consumers in this part of the world are more involved with the concept of sustainability. So while in the past, the issue of non-genuine, non-authentic practices were coming from the north, from the global north, today, from the global south, we have a very strong signal that shoppers are very afraid about sustainability, and they look at this new phenomenon. And this new phenomenon is getting more transparent over time, because that is the new concept of economic growth. So we need technology. We are polluting the global system, the global environment, and that is another very interesting role of consumers regarding sustainability. And Generation Z, the consumers pay the most attention to these sustainability practices, sustainable practices. And with a couple of statistics in the graph. And the main obstacle to sustainability, lifestyle, is the cost, because the cost of producing sustainable products is higher today. Maybe will converge to zero, the larger cost, the higher cost over time. But today, the associated cost of producing sustainable products is higher, a bit higher. And for Generation Z, these sustainable products remain expensive. Although the interest of Generation Z is still to focus on sustainable products. And globally, this survey is of 2020 through 2024. About 38% of consumers worldwide pay the premium of 1 to 5% more for a sustainable product. Okay? So what we need today to come up with is a new technology that makes this sustainability and the cost of producing sustainable products possible. So there is this claim. So now we go to marketing, to the conference goal of marketing. We need to advertise brands. And today, many brands claim to be going green. That is the strategy. Global, in the global north, global south, the strategy is we are producing green products. We are adopting green and sustainable practices. Or we have a very strong commitment. But in reality, this is not true. Many times it's not. There are a couple of surveys about the benefits of sustainability. What you see is a survey, a global survey of 2024, and the survey is, this refers to C-level executives, and was the survey about addressing climate change. And the sustainability efforts, yes, is in the list of, but it's not on the top. Today, we have addressing climate change is important, but especially on the energy side, Or maybe in the case of Europe, artificial intelligence and machine learning and marketing automation, and a lower ratio, about 78%, is about sustainability. So, I mean, the overall goal of this new era of economic growth is that we need to move towards a more sustainable economic growth strategy. And, but this step is expensive today. Maybe we need more technology, more technological breakthroughs. And still consumers are, especially younger consumers, are willing to spend more, a bit more, on purchasing green products. So today, legislation all around, and the global north, global south, is redirecting towards maybe fiscal incentives or sustainable investment strategies, and so to reallocate money investment on this new sustainable strategy. And in the case of Asia, the Asia-Pacific region, and again, energy efficiency, renewable energy are among the top 5 priorities, and climate adaptation comes lower, a bit lower. So there is also a consensus and awareness on the management side about the importance of commitment on green strategies. But the risk of the economy today is that while consumers are willing to pay more for real, authentic, green products, sustainable products, on the managerial side, there is the opposite risk, that there is a claim, we claim we are green, yeah? We are adopting sustainable practices, but the risk is that this is not true, absolutely. So the greenwashing. So the marketing strategy is to avoid this kind of untrue strategy of informing consumers we are going green. And so the problem of the issue of the perception of greenwashing worldwide, and that is a problem. That is a big problem. And maybe it's getting larger and larger, bigger and bigger, that of the green, going green. And we have a very interesting corporate greenwashing fines globally. The case of Volkswagen was the major one in the past, Dieselgate in the past, in the recent past, and some data about the largest greenwashing fines globally. Also, the fashion industry has been one of a big case of misleading sustainability claims. So I don't want to delve into case by case, but the logic of the market strategy today is maybe to provide provide consumers with misleading concepts. So we are going green, but that is not true, or is just partially true. But we need to go and to navigate this new reality, because this is the new reality of economic growth. So we need a sustainable, long-term economic growth strategy. So a part of these greenwashing committees in the United States of America, in Europe. So the bottom line of these navigating greenwashing claims is that companies have to should comply with the new strategy. And we need to avoid the use of, and you as marketing experts, to avoid the use of green, of ecosystem, eco product, and consciousness. I mean, we need to offer, to give consumers a proper understanding of what the product is about. And then we have many cases today in the global north about greenwashing. For example, hydropower in the Western Balkans and in countries that are candidate for EU membership. And there are many NGOs, many reports that highlight greenwashing hypothesis, very strong greenwashing hypothesis. And because of the ecological cost of their practices, the social impact of that investment. Another big case today is about the Jadar lithium project in Serbia. Serbia is another country, a candidate country for EU membership. That project is linked with Rio Tinto company and is a big, unique jadeite deposit in Serbia, and also there is there was and there is a very big controversy about the real impact of the social impact of the ecological impact of this project. So on the official side, the reporting side, the project was explained as compatible with sustainability, but many experts proves that this was not true. So another case of greenwashing. So the concept of, there are a few papers today about these concepts. So there is a language about climate language, about the commitment to green practices, to sustainable practices. And this language is picking up, is getting faster and faster, stronger and stronger, about the green or sustainable operational change. However, the operational changes or green sustainable practices are not up to the language. So the language about sustainability is getting faster and faster, but operational changes are not as fast as the language, the climate language is. So we are claiming something that is not true. And this gap between the language, if you look at the main reports, you see sustainability, all the time sustainability, sustainable practices, but in reality, operational changes or investment of sustainability are not up to the climate language. And this creates a credibility gap. And corporate climate language is growing, but the communication is wrong, or partially is wrong. So the communication is to communicate consumers, for example, people that even very big brand names are committed to sustainable practices, but this is not true. And a few papers today went through a text analysis to look at the vocabulary key terms and words, a kind of linguistic analysis. And we found that the language per se does not prove intent or operational outcomes because of the credibility gap is today very big. I mean, consumers, NGOs are aware today that there is this language gap, very big gap, very big gap. So a credible commitment is a credible communication strategy has to be ambitious, has to provide numbers, statistics, has to make clear what governance changes are, and to provide the consumers with evidence of reallocated investment. So not just a language. Our strategy is sustainable. Our strategy is green. We are going green. This is not enough for consumers today. So let me skip over a couple of slides. We have Shell and so oil company, big oil company, and from the from the Court of Appeal, there was an injunction to be clearer and to provide, to emphasize implementation evidence to consumers. But the case of this Norwegian project is more relevant today because Norway is thought to be a very clean, very transparent country. It's on the very top of, for example, the corruption perception index. And this big project has become a point of debate about climate leadership and responsible governance. And also in this case, NGOs found a lack of transparent communication, transparent reporting, and opacity, accusation of opacity, and weakens public trust. So that is very common in the global north as well. I mean, this credibility gap. So Total Energies, the same stuff. Let me skip over a few slides. So in Europe, the European Union Green Claims Guidance and Green Claims Directive of February 2024. We have a very strong legislation about this kind of communication, and countries, member states have to enforce this new directive towards 2027. So the requirements of the new directive in the EU is to provide robust data, verifiable evidence about environmental claims, to be very transparent, very genuine with the consumers, with people. And the awareness about greenwashing is very high today, and there is a very strong intent of in Europe about eco-friendliness and marketing trend and a strategic intent to provide, to prioritize sustainability in campaigns, okay? So to have a marketing strategy truly based on transparent information, true information regarding going green. So, but the cost of producing clean products is higher, and consumers are willing to pay more, but not that much more. We saw about up to 5% of the cost of consumers are keen to pay more. So the strategy is to strive to make eco-friendly products more budget-friendly, and without compromising the quality of products. So consumers, especially the young consumers, want to purchase green products. They want to pay more, and but still the concept of quality is at the center of markets today. So many Europeans express interest in eco-friendly products, but price sensitivity remains strong. And but I mean, in France, in Italy, we have a different awareness. So in the case of France, 76%, in the case of Italy, 74%. But price sensitivity, that price sensitivity was and is a big issue and a barrier to consumers. So at the end of the day, so the marketing job is shifting from persuasion alone to verifiable claims. So that is the credibility issue. So we need to provide a clear commitment on sustainable practices. Consumers are happy to redirect their choices towards clean products. And also a very clear polished messaging is a way to create a perception of progress. So we need progress. We need economic progress. We need social progress. We need sustainable progress. And having a very clear linguistic strategy is a way to create that perception and to enforce that perception of green growth. And then the campaign language has to side with evidence, to provide consumers with the proper evidence that the products are really going green and are green. And last but not least, so we need to build up trust. And consumers must feel happy with also this marketing strategy, this new marketing strategy. And that of providing consumers with verifiable information and writing reports properly without accelerating the language of green, the green language, is the new frontier of the marketing job. The marketing job. So the marketing job has to shift from just persuasion to something more ambitious. And this new ambition is to have a sustainable, long-term, affordable GDP growth, GDP strategy. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. That was Professor Bruno S. Sergi, the Faculty Affiliate Center for International Development of Harvard Kennedy School of USA, delivering the keynote speech of the day. Of course, he shared many insights about the green language that the marketers will have to use nowadays, the sustainable approach. Of course, I think we all gained a lot of insights from what he shared. So, of course, as the organizing body of the 6th International Conference on Marketing Management, the Sri Lanka Institute of Marketing, Slim Research Bureau, as well as Emerald Publishing, takes the honor, of course, is honored to have the presence of Professor Bruno S. Sergi with us. Professor, we do have a small token of appreciation to be awarded to you. And for this, I would like to invite Professor Dr. Devasiri Enchayantha, the President of Sri Lanka Institute of Marketing, and also Dr. Dilhan Sampath Jayatilaka, the Senior Vice President of Education and Research at SLIM, to give away this special token to our keynote speaker, as we will also have one photograph to be posed for. We will go in front of the head table, and also I would like to invite the conference chair, Ms. Shanika Ratnasiri, also to join hands with this occasion as we hand over the special token of appreciation to our keynote speaker, Professor Bruno S. Sergi, Faculty Affiliate, Center for International Development, Harvard Kennedy School of United States of America. Thank you very much for gracing this occasion, ICMM 2026, on our invitation. And of course, yes, we shall give a round of applause to the dignitaries together with the keynote speaker as we mark this special milestone in the history of International Conference on Marketing Management. Together with the plaque and the token of appreciation. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, the dignitaries will get seated at the head table once again after giving away the token of appreciation. Thank you, the keynote speaker, Professor Bruno S. Sergi, the Faculty Affiliate, Center for International Development, Harvard Kennedy School of USA. Thanks goes to Professor Devasiri Enchayantha, the President of SLIM, Dr. Dilhan Sampath Jayatilaka, the Senior Vice President of Education and Research at SLIM, as well as the conference chair, Ms. Shanika Ratnasiri, for joining hands with that occasion. So, ladies and gentlemen, we do have another keynote speech to listen to, but before that, we do have an entertainment item to entertain all of us who are gathered here today at ICMM 2026.
Ayubowan, the traditional greeting of Sri Lankans.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, that was the richness of Sri Lanka. Different dancing styles, different beliefs, different musical styles, but still, that creates the perfect blend and that creates the perfect diversity. Of course, that's the cultural heritage, the traditional pride of Sri Lanka, our motherland. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure that the foreign delegates over here was impressed by what we just witnessed, of course, with the traditions of Sri Lanka. So, ladies and gentlemen, right after that impressive entertainment item, we are moving on to the second keynote speech of the day. Before I cordially invite the keynote speaker, let me come up with the profile of this keynote speaker as well. Dr. Asanga Ranasinghe is a distinguished marketing and strategy professional with a multidisciplinary academic and professional background. He holds a Bachelor of Science honors in Chemistry Special from University of Colombo, an MBA from the Postgraduate Institute of Management, PIM, University of Sri Jayawardenepura, a professional postgraduate diploma in marketing, and a Doctor of Business Administration, DBA, from Manipal Global Next University. He is a fellow of the Chartered Institute of Marketing, FCIM UK, and a recognized chartered marketer. With extensive experience spanning marketing leadership, strategic management, and corporate transformation, Dr. Ranasinghe brings a rare blend of scientific rigor and strategic business insight to his work. His expertise lies in strategic marketing, competitive positioning, brand leadership, performance-driven strategy formulation, and organizational growth in dynamic market environments. Dr. Ranasinghe has contributed significantly to both industry and academia through executive training, strategic consultancy, and thought leadership initiatives. His professional engagements focus on helping organizations build resilient, innovation-driven strategies aligned with evolving global and emerging market conditions. As a keynote speaker, he offers deep insights into marketing strategy, adaptive leadership, and sustainable competitive advantage, making him a highly respected voice in contemporary marketing discourse. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let me invite the second keynote speaker of the day, Dr. Asanga Ranasinghe, Director of Postgraduate Institute of Management, PIM, University of Sri Jayawardenepura.
Thank you very much for that detailed introduction. President of Sri Lanka Institute of Marketing, the council members, the EXCO members of SLIM, my co-keynote speaker, ladies and gentlemen, conference chair, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, respected academics, industry leaders, and all SLIM members and students here. It's an absolute privilege and an honor to be here with you at the ICMM 2026, which is organized by SLIM, by a known community of people, and it's seen tremendous progress under Professor Devasiri's leadership. I extend my sincere congratulations to the Sri Lanka Institute of Marketing for organizing this kind of an event and continuing to raise the bar every year. The theme of resilience and innovation, building adaptive strategies for emerging markets, it's not only relevant, it is urgent. So I'll try to build on what Professor spoke about from a context of our country, Sri Lanka, and what we need to do as future leaders, especially, to take this country forward. So if I don't start with a slide like this, I'm not doing justice. Today, we are living in a world of disruption. global volatility, economic instability, climate disruptions. We are just coming out of a climate emergency a few months ago, probably the worst that has hit our country. So on top of this, the markets are becoming busier by the day. Markets are experiencing this economic crisis directly. The markets are facing the climate disasters frequently. And we as consumers, brand owners, businesses operate under uncertainty regularly. So this is the context in which we operate. Whether we like it or not, it is here to stay. So we are living in a world where disruption is normal. For emerging markets like Sri Lanka, uncertainty is no more occasional. It is constant. So this sets the foundation. So why resilience? Why innovation? And why adaptive strategies? These were the key words of our theme, isn't it? So they're critically important. And I'm glad for Slim for selecting such a theme, which is the order of the day. So the disruptions are no longer obstacles. We can't consider them as obstacles. We used to, but the problem is they are here to stay. But we must go beyond obstacles and look at opportunities to innovate. So as businesses, as leaders, we must find ways to adapt, pivot and evolve continuously. There's no way complaining about disruption, always playing the victim role. That is not going to help us to survive and thrive. So in doing so, if we can get this mindset, the models, the processes, understanding the consumer better, we will find new opportunities for growth. We will find opportunities to innovate, and we'll find opportunities to connect with our consumers in different ways. So I want to place a thought in you. You would have heard this word many times. We need to bounce back. We are down. We have fallen down. We are really struggling. So we need to bounce back. So recovering from a crisis, returning to the previous state, fixing damage after something goes wrong. We're used to that, isn't it? But we can't do that because the disruptions are too many and they're coming at a very high level of frequency. So therefore, I would like to propose that we look at a new definition of business. How about thinking of business as being proactive and designing proactively? So I call it proactive design as opposed to bouncing back. So this proactive design is all about absorbing shocks, not get damaged and then to come back, handling disruption without collapsing, adapting strategies, changing plans when needed, be nimble, quick to change, reconfiguring resources. As leaders, we reconfigure resources, rearranging the people, the money, the systems effectively. That's why I use this photograph of bending trees. Trees that bend do not crack. They survive the storm, but they resist rigidly. That is what we need in business, isn't it? The business, the processes, the leadership, the brands. We resist rigidly. So it's not about recovering from problems. It's about designing systems in advance to handle this whole uncertainty. So instead of bouncing back, we as leaders of the future must be prepared to be flexible and adaptive from the beginning. So that's what I call proactive design. Now this is where this whole concept of innovation comes. Now we always think innovation happens because we have a lot of resources. Abundance is the word. But if you really look at some of the innovations, great innovations that have happened or happening, is because of the limitations and constraints. Look at ourselves, the online ordering, home deliveries, live streaming. We can't be without today, isn't it? COVID taught us, the whole pandemic taught us to stay at home. It's all because of the limitations we had, the constraints we had. So the image of a leader is to find the right skills, get the right focus. Working within limits. So constraints always fuels ingenuity, isn't it? Resources are limited. We need to think differently. We need to be more creative. We need to find smarter solutions. So that's why I want to propose these 3 disciplines of innovation. Innovation needs us to question the assumptions. Earlier, if we wanted to watch a movie, we have to go to a cinema, isn't it? People question that. Now we watch more movies, but at home. We have to abandon outdated models. If you want to buy something, you have to go to a store. Now you don't have to go to a store. You buy whatever you want. It comes to your home. But experiment humbly. That is what the new generations want. New ideas, learn from failure, stay open-minded. So innovation has to be the way of thinking which we need to cultivate in organizations. It, of course, requires courage from the leadership to accept mistakes. Give people space. Give people opportunities to challenge old ideas. Humility to test new ones, especially when facing limitations. But we can't be fools in making decisions and fail. Decisions based on opinion is very risky. Today is a world of data. Lot of data. Lot of analytics. But remember, data only informs us. But if you want to connect, you need empathy. Empathy is only with people. So I like to call this the first reflection of mine. I like to introduce this word called Oswald. When I was reading, I found the old English word of Oswald, which is not used now. It is all about the God's power, divine power. We want leaders who have that power of using data and the ability to connect with people through empathy. In a data-driven world, we must not only be slaves of data. We can't forget, and we shouldn't forget, the human touch, the empathy. Data, of course, helps us to understand patterns, preferences, performance. But data alone does not build relationships. Today, the buzzwords are AI, analytics. Empathy is what will allow us to understand why people behave the way they do. It allows brands to connect emotionally, culturally, socially, especially in our markets, right? Emerging markets like Sri Lanka. We're seeing new brands, new ways of buying, new behaviors. So, this image of a woman in a local market is changing, right? Even the lady who goes to Polar is now changing and finding newer ways. People want to buy brands that they can trust. That has not changed. They support those they know. So relationships matter. Relationships matter. So deeply human marketing is required. Listening beyond the matrices, understanding social realities, respecting the cultural diversity, designing with people, not just for them. Often we spend a lot of time in boardrooms designing brands, communication strategies for the consumer. We are very, very, very reluctant to be with the consumer. So the key message is about technology and data give us intelligence. But empathy is what gives you relevance. Relevance. Without relevance, with only data, you will make a lot of mistakes. So this leads to my second reflection. Today, the business success is not only measured by profits and the revenue and so on. It's about the meaningful impact. I don't believe in this cosmic CSR activities. We need to focus on the real change. Commit for environmental sustainability, responsibility, ethical practices, sustainable growth, purpose-driven strategies, build trust, loyalty, long-term value. So the one-liner which I would like to talk about is profit with purpose drives real growth. It's not just good optics. So the third one is the third reflection is actually the topic of today. So marketing decisions, of course, has to be grounded in research with real world evidence, goes without saying. Academia in one side cannot be isolated and work in towers. Industry also cannot be making decisions based on opinion. We need collaboration with all the parties to integrate theory and practice. And the conferences like this is where this whole integration should happen. I heard there are so many papers that are getting presented. I hope they finally add value to the industry and resolving industry problems. So evidence-based approaches ensure strategies are effective, measurable, and future-ready. Theory meets practice. That is where conferences like the SLIM conference should aim for. So we spoke about the laboratory. Isn't there a better place than Sri Lanka as a laboratory? Isn't it a living laboratory? As a country, we are not behind. It's a lovely testing grounds. As leadership, future leaders, to innovate and adapt. We're faced with the economic challenges. This is where solutions are required. As a country, we've shown a lot of resilience. Now for us to go forward, we need more resilience. We need more agility from the businesses, the leaders, professional bodies like Sri Lanka Institute of Marketing, universities. So our country offers unique insights for global application. If you look at Sri Lanka, we have very few global brands. But today the world is becoming global. So in conclusion, Sri Lanka is a living laboratory, isn't it? Where challenges become opportunities for innovation. We need to take that road. So some of the companies are pivoting this change. They are bringing new business models to stay relevant in changing markets. Companies are really thriving in digital platforms that enable faster connections with customers, suppliers, the whole value chain. And brands, my pet topic. It's all about reinventing. Some great examples we could see in this country where brands have really reinvented and catering to the evolving consumer needs and values. So there are lots of organizations, leaders who are willing to experiment, recalibrate, and endure this change. And this is where the resilience, innovation, and the strategic agility has to come. So as leaders, as future leaders, especially the young leaders of today, I want to really put it into your mind that we need to always anticipate this disruption. Anticipate disruption. Don't wait for disruption to happen and then find solutions. Always scan the environment, identify the risks, the shifts in the market, technological changes, proactive anticipation, allowing organizations to prepare, pivot. We have to do it. So leadership foresight is required. The digital transformation is required. Crisis planning is required. All that has to be part of leadership of the future. The old leadership of command and control is becoming a little obsolete and irrelevant now. This is where learning has to come. And a conference like this is absolutely essential now. Invest in learning. You need to culture a leadership culture, which is about learning, knowledge transfer, encouraging training, upskilling, cross-functional learning. And the last thing is about empowering experimentation. This risk-averse culture is very bad. Leaders should be prepared to allow people try, change, challenge, create a safe environment for innovation and experimentation. allowing teams to test ideas, pilot new models, build relationships, empowering employees. So resilient leadership anticipates these challenges, invest in learning, and empowers experimentation. So this is where we turn disruption into opportunity. And we build long-term organizational strength. So the future profile of the leaders should be the most adaptable, the most resilient, the most innovative, and I want to add the last one, the most human. With others, with the peer group, with the team, and more importantly with the consumers, the partners. No brand, no business can be built by the company alone. I worked for many brands. All brands have been built with the best human touch through relationships. So my last submission is about shaping the future, not about responding after things happen. To be proactive, lead the transformation, create the opportunities, and empower the others. I hope I was able to plant some new thoughts in you in line with the theme of this conference. So Sri Lanka is at crossroads. We as leaders and marketing professionals, business leaders, we are also part of this whole journey. We have the choice of leading this change, making a difference, as opposed to waiting for things to happen and then try to respond. I think the leaders of the marketing community need to really change this mindset and be proactive rather than reactive. So thank you very much, Sri Lanka Institute of Marketing, for inviting me, the president of SLIM and the council. And I hope you'll have a great conference and be the change you want to see. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Asanga Ranasinghe, the Director of Postgraduate Institute of Management, PIM, University of Sri Jagadhpur, of course, with his keynote speech. I'm sure that he left very powerful and impactful messages to the audience. So, ladies and gentlemen, we do have a token of appreciation to Dr. Asanga Ranasinghe as well. I cordially invite Professor Devasiri Enchantha, the President of SLIM, Dr. Dilhan Sampath Jaitilaka, the Senior Vice President of Education and Research at SLIM, also Ms. Shanika Ratnasiri, the Conference Chair of ICMM 2026, to come to the front and give away the token of appreciation to Dr. Asanga Ranasinghe, the keynote speaker of ICMM 2026. Thank you very much, Dr. Asanga Ranasinghe, for accepting the invitation by SLIM to grace this occasion as a valuable keynote speaker of the day. Thank you for the insights shared with the audience. Yes, we shall give a round of applause to the second keynote speaker, Dr. Asanga Ranasinghe, on behalf of Sri Lanka Institute of Marketing, the SLIM Research Bureau, as well as Emerald Publishing. We thank you for gracing the occasion as a valuable keynote speaker. Thank you very much. The President of SLIM, as well as the Senior Vice President of Education and Research at SLIM, as well as the Conference Chair of ICMM for gracing this occasion, for joining hands with giving away the token of appreciation. So ladies and gentlemen, as you know, we are moving on to a very insightful thing once again. Of course, we are on the proceedings of the 6th International Conference on Marketing Management, ICMM 2026, based on the theme Resilience and Innovation, Building Adaptive Strategies for Emerging Markets. So ladies and gentlemen, by now we have listened to the guest speaker, Ms. Sangeeta Menon, the keynote speaker, Professor Bruno Sergi, as well as the keynote speaker, Dr. Asanga Ranasinghe. Ladies and gentlemen, we are moving on to the launch of the conference proceedings of ICMM 2026. So for that, I think we do have the hard copies of the conference proceedings ready with us. I would like to invite Dr. Dilhan Sampath Jayatilaka, the Senior Vice President of Education and Research of Sri Lanka Institute of Marketing, to give away the hard copies of the conference proceedings to our keynote speaker, Professor Bruno Sergi. Yes, we will go to the front, as we will have to pose for the photographs as well. So the first hard copy of the proceedings of the 6th International Conference on Marketing Management, ICMM 2026, will be given away to Professor Bruno Sergi, the keynote speaker of the conference. And the second copy will be given away to Dr. Asanga Ranasinghe, who also graced this occasion as the keynote speaker of ICMM 2026. Yes, I would also invite Professor Devasiri Enchanta, the President of Sri Lanka Institute of Marketing, to join hands with this occasion. And the third copy will be given to Ms. Shanika Ratnasiri, the Conference Chair of ICMM 2026. We have already given the hard copies to Professor Bruno, the Dr. Asanga Ranasinghe, and now to Ms. Shanika Ratnasiri. The fourth copy will be given to the Conference Secretary of ICMM, Ms. Iresha Hettige. The next copy, ladies and gentlemen, to Mr. Enoch Pereira, the Vice President of Events and Sustainability of SLIM. As he's not here at the gathering, we will now move on to Professor Atura Nyanapala, representing the SLIM Board of Study. Thank you very much for gracing this occasion as well, Professor Attula Nyanapala, and he will be representing the SLIM Board of Study. The next copy will be delivered to Mr. G.S. Sylvester, the Chairperson of Academic Council. Yes, so with that, ladies and gentlemen, giving away the hard copies of the conference proceedings comes to a conclusion. Thank you very much, Professor Devasiri Enchanta, the President of SLIM, as well as Dr. Dilhan Sampath Jayatilaka, the Senior Vice President of Education and Research of Sri Lanka Institute of Marketing. So, ladies and gentlemen, right after giving the hard copies, you can now see on screen, you can scan the QR code that is there on the screen in order to download a copy of the conference proceedings of ICMM 2026. So, ladies and gentlemen, with that, We are moving on to the next item on the agenda. And ladies and gentlemen, this is the vote of thanks by Ms. Iresha Hettige, the Conference Secretary of ICMM 2026.
Thank you. Good morning, distinguished guests, esteemed keynote speakers, respected researchers, academic leaders, and industry leaders, ladies and gentlemen. It is both an honor and privilege for me as the Conference Secretary of the 6th International Conference on Marketing Management with the theme Resilience and Innovation, Building Adaptive Strategies for Emerging Markets to deliver the vote of thanks at the conclusion of this inauguration ceremony of this inspiring research conference organized by the Sri Lanka Institute of Marketing and the Slim Research Bureau in collaboration with Emerald Publishing. First and foremost, I extend our deepest gratitude to our distinguished keynote speaker, Professor Bruno S. Sergi, the faculty affiliate at the Harvard Kennedy School. Dear Professor, we are truly honored by your presence here today, having traveled from abroad to share your profound expertise and global insights. Your keynote address offered invaluable perspectives on resilience, innovation, and adaptive strategies within emerging markets, inspiring all of us to think beyond conventional boundaries. I would also like to express our sincere appreciation to our next keynote speaker, Dr. Asanga Ranasinghe, the director of the Postgraduate Institute of Management at the University of Sri Jayawardhanapura. Your insights and scholarly reflections have greatly enriched the academic value of this conference and motivated our researchers and practitioners. Our heartfelt thanks also goes to our esteemed guest speaker, Ms. Sangeeta Menon, the Regional Publishing Manager, South Asia at Emerald Publishing. And I wish to express our sincere gratitude to the leadership of the Sri Lanka Institute of Marketing. Our special thanks go to Professor Devasiri N. Jayantha, the President of Sri Lanka Institute of Marketing, for his visionary leadership, unwavering support in promoting research and academic engagement. I also extend my appreciation to Dr. Dilhan Sampath Jayatilaka, the Senior Vice President, Education and Research of Sri Lanka Institute of Marketing, and Mr. Enoch Pereira, the Vice President, Event and Sustainability, for their continuous encouragement and commitment to advancing research-driven initiatives. My sincere thanks also go to Mr. Chamil Wickramasinghe, the Chief Executive Officer of Sri Lanka Institute of Marketing, for his exceptional guidance and support in making this conference a reality. I would also like to acknowledge with great appreciation the invaluable contribution of the Advisory Board of the 6th International Conference on Marketing Management. Your strategic guidance and academic wisdom ensured the conference maintained the highest scholarly standards. Our heartfelt gratitude goes to all the reviewers whose rigorous and constructive evaluations upheld the academic integrity and quality of the conference proceedings. Your dedication behind the scenes is the backbone of any successful research conference. I also wish to thank our session chairs and panelists of today's conference sessions and their continuous support. Their insights will truly help for the success in the academic journey of today's presenters and the authors. A conference of this magnitude would not have been possible without the tireless efforts of a dedicated organizing team. I would like to extend my deepest and most sincere appreciation to our conference chair, Ms. Shanika Ratnasiri, whose leadership, vision, and commitment were instrumental in shaping the success of this conference. My special thanks also go to our coordinating secretary, Ms. Sashini Bulmula, and the program manager, Mr. Sadeep Abenayaka, for their amazing planning, coordination, and dedication. I would also like to acknowledge the valuable contributions of our program committee members, Ms. Suzanne, Ms. Umaya, Ms. Hansika, along with all the members of the technical committee whose hard work ensured the smooth academic and technical execution of the conference. Our sincere thanks also go to the IT division, the marketing division, the designers, and all the operational teams of the Sri Lanka Institute of Marketing for their professional excellence and behind-the-scenes efforts. I would also like to extend the appreciation to our event management team and our computer for their outstanding coordination and professionalism throughout the event. And also, our sincere thanks goes to our academic partner, the Emerald Publishing, and all our sponsors and the partners. We are deeply grateful to our venue partner, the Amari Hotel Colombo, and special thanks goes to Mrs. Ashwika Gajendra, the sales manager of the Amari Hotel Colombo, for their excellent hospitality, exceptional facilities, and the support. Finally, I would like to extend our best wishes to all the presenters and the authors who will be presenting their research in the upcoming technical sessions. Your research contributions are the foundation of this conference, and we wish you the very best for your presentations and the insightful discussions that will follow. I also thank all the participants and the attendees for your presence and engagement. Your participation truly makes the conference meaningful and impactful. With that, I wish everyone a productive and intellectually rewarding conference ahead. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And ladies and gentlemen, that was Ms. Iresha Hettige, the conference chair of ICMM 2026. So ladies and gentlemen, over the course of this conference, groundbreaking research will be presented, meaningful dialogues will unfold, and collaborative networks will strengthen, all contributing to a deeper understanding of how resilience and innovation can redefine marketing management in emerging economies. So let us engage openly, let us question courageously, and let us think adaptively, because the future of marketing in emerging markets will not be predicted, but it will be built. So ladies and gentlemen, while thanking each and every one of you who were a part of the inauguration ceremony of ICMM 2026, this section comes to a conclusion. And of course, we are moving on to the technical sessions. Before moving on to the next, I will give you a small reminder about where the technical sessions will be happening. Technical session 1 and 4 will be happening at this place, which is the Safina Ballroom. And technical session 2 and 5 will be happening at the Liberty 1 Hall. Technical session 3 and 6 will be happening at the Liberty 2 Hall. So this hall, Liberty 1 and Liberty 2, will be utilized for the technical sessions coming up. If you need to get the guidance and the direction, the SLIM officials are more than willing to help you out with providing the guidance. So ladies and gentlemen, as mentioned, we have come to the conclusion of the inauguration ceremony. And before we wind up, before the keynote speakers, other dignitaries, and the industry and the academia experts leave this hall, we will together pose for one group photograph. Of course, this will be a valuable memory at this international, 6th International Conference on Marketing Management, ICMM 2026. So while thanking all of you, I would invite all the dignitaries at the head table first to come to the front, because we will be taking the group photograph here at this vacant room. So yes, together with the dignitaries at the head table, we invite all of you at the audience as well to take part in group photograph. Is this invitation to all the participants in the audience as well, because this will be a group photograph that we will be taking, marking the 6th International Conference on Marketing Management, ICMM 2026. We have the 2 keynote speakers here, as well as the dignitaries who were there at the head table. We have the conference chair, the conference secretary, and of course the chairs, the respective chairs of the technical sessions as well. Yes, so we will take one photograph with the dignitaries first, and then dignitaries together with the attendees. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, second chance is for all the presenters who are willingly waiting to present their findings at the ICMM 2026. Yes, all the presenters, please come here at this place. We will take the group photograph with the presence of you all as well. Some of you could come to the stage. Since we have a larger crowd, yes, we will line up accordingly. Ladies and gentlemen, a gentle reminder to all the participants. We are ready to start the technical sessions. Let me give a reminder once again. The technical session 1 and 4 at this hall, Safira Ballroom. Technical session 2 and 5 at Liberty 1. Technical session 3 and 6, Liberty 2. Kind reminder to head to your respective locations in order to start the technical sessions. Good luck to all of you.
Study attempts to fill that gap. This research used a qualitative and descriptive design. A total of 12 key personnel were selected, including production supervisors, storekeepers, QA officers, inventory managers. Data was collected through semi-structured interviews, direct warehouse observations, document reviews. Thematic and descriptive analysis techniques were applied to identify patterns and recurring issues. Using multiple data sources helped strengthen reliability and validity. Descriptive analysis revealed that most common problems were inventory record inaccuracies, manual documentation errors. These issues were linked to stock mismatches, operational delays, increased cost. Participants also reported limitation in inventory management technology and poor coordination between departments. Thematic analysis identified 4 major factors affecting inventory accuracy: human error, technology gaps, poor documentation practices,